Hey everybody, John Foss, Minneapolis, Minnesota. We are talking with Meredith Vieira. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Oh, thank you. I have a soft spot for Minneapolis because my daughter's boyfriend is from there and he is the best. So I think that whatever you guys are doing in Minneapolis, you're doing a good job of raising wonderful young people.
Well, thank you very much. I have 3 kids of my own, so hopefully I can keep that going.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we are talking about the Great American Read. The season finale is tonight on TPT. Meredith, tell us all about it.
Well, it really was a call to action by PBS to get folks reading again, to remind them that the most wonderful experience in the world is falling in love with a good book. So they conducted a survey, a poll, and came up with the top 100 books. The only mandate was that they actually be published in English. They could be from any part of the world, however. And then they asked people to read off that list. The show premiered in May. And we revealed the list and said, please read these books, as many as you can, and then vote. Vote for your favorite. You can vote every day and share your experience with other people. And it generated a huge response, which is what we hoped for, but we had over 4 million votes on these books, and a lot of different book clubs were formed. Our Facebook book club has over 50,000 members, which is so exciting in and of itself. So we wanted to generate a conversation about books, and I think that we've done that. And if I was successful in getting just one more person to pick up a book, then I feel that the entire series was a success. And the finale, obviously, tonight is revealing America's best loved novel. So we go down the list from 100 all the way to number 1. And I'm so nervous talking to you, John, because this was taped in front of a live audience, and I know the answer. And I have a big mouth, so all I can think is I just got to keep quiet here. But it's great.
You're going to tell us, right?
Oh, yeah, nah.
What's your favorite book?
My favorite book is To Kill a Mockingbird, although, when you look at this list, depending on what day, I could easily name another one, but that's the book that probably had the biggest effect on me. I read it when I was 13 years old. I lived in East Providence, Rhode Island, in a suburb, and I really didn't know much of anything about prejudice or racism, and it just hit me. Reading that book, understanding that there were those kinds of complex issues in our country and that amount of hate, and yet there was also hope. There were people who would fight against it. And as a 13-year-old trying to find my way and my moral compass, I think that book had a tremendous impact on how I saw the world and my role in that world as somebody who would fight against those things instead of joining in with them.
What did you think of the list? Because like you said, the show has been extremely popular. So there's some people that like the list, but I've heard other people complain that some of the mainstream books on the list, they weren't a fan of those. What do you think about that?
Well, it's funny, it was a poll that was taken. And it was very diverse, the people that were polled for it. So we made sure that there was a really great cross-section of individuals. And it's what they said. It wasn't PBS's list. It wasn't the Library of Congress's list. It was the list of Americans. And so those are the books they like. I remember when I first saw it and I saw 50 Shades of Grey, I went, whoa. I mean, if that one wins, I don't want to be reading an excerpt from that. But then I had to step back and go, well, wait a minute. Why am I being judgmental? That book was enjoyed by a lot of people. Why not have it on the list? But we sort of like the fact that some people took issue with books on the list because, again, it was about generating conversation. If you don't like a book, why not?
When it comes to TV personalities, I can't really think of anybody that's been more successful than you. When you look back at your career, is there one job or one opportunity that sticks out that you just thought, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this right now?
Boy, that's really tough. My dream had always been 60 Minutes, so when I got that job as a co-editor at 60 Minutes, that was a dream come true, literally. But every job that I've had, I've grown with and grown from and enjoyed immensely. So I don't like to pick one. They all came at a particular time in my life when it was the right choice for me. I've struggled with balancing life and career, and that's not an easy juggle, and made decisions always that favored family first. and been very comfortable with that. So some people might look at my choices and go, well, why'd you do this particular thing? Well, because it fit into my life. But I've loved them all. And this project has been fantastic because, it's such a positive project at a time when there's a lot of negativity. This is about reading and about conversation and about sharing, people sharing their thoughts. I can't think of a better thing to be associated with right now.
Before this interview, I was actually looking at some clips of when you left the Today Show, and it just seemed like you had a lot of chemistry and camaraderie with all the other hosts on the show. Do you ever look back at that and just wonder what would have been if you would have stayed, or second guess that decision?
It was a wonderful experience. I hosted for 5 years, but sometimes you got to go with your gut. And my gut said to me it was time to go. I was on a high, which is great. I'm not a morning person particularly. I loved when the train left the station at 7 a.m. and we were on the air. I loved it. I loved that 2 hours of broadcast. But I felt like I didn't have much of a life other than that. I would go home. By the time I got home, the work was already rolling in. And then I was up every morning at 2 a.m. and I'm a night owl, so I didn't go to bed before 11. So I was tired. I was really tired. I loved everybody, but I thought there's something wrong with this picture, when this is everything in my life.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see Matt Lauer back in TV?
I don't know. I really don't know. That's a tough call. So I don't know where his head is at. I don't know whether that would be the right fit anymore. But I don't want to read any tea leaves here. I've learned through experience. I'm almost 65. That doesn't get me anywhere. So.
Do you have anything left on your bucket list as far as TV opportunities go that you would like to attain?
I never would have known about this. This just came out of thin air, really. PBS gave me a call and said, would you be interested? So you never know what's around the corner. I just open myself up to all possibilities, whether it's something like Today, or it's a news magazine, or it's a game show. I like to have fun. I like to inform people. I love to make a difference, if that's possible. And I like to say at the end of the day, I've done no harm. So if I can accomplish all of that, I'm pretty happy. So I don't know what's left on the bucket list.
All right. Well, Twin Cities, make sure you check out The Great American Read season finale tonight on TPT at 7. Thanks, Meredith.
Thanks, John.